bottles and a little bit of some Mary Jane. Y'all, what am I talking about? Listen, if you guys don't know, I had a great interview with Tiffany Red. It's on my channel right now. She was one of Cassie's closest friends, and she gave us insight into who Diddy and Cassie was and the things that she witnessed and experienced that I promise you haven't heard on any other channel. Go ahead and check it out. But there was one interesting thing she said that really got my mind jogging that I had to do some research on, okay? It was the fact that she said that when Cassie came back, she looked like she had been through some things. She looked like she wasn't like herself. She looked like she was on something. Tiffany said that, she was able to avoid most of it because she's not a big drinker. She doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. So it was hard for them to spike her drinks. But she also made an interesting point about Cassie. Then there was April Lampros, right? Then there were other people that came out and said that Diddy made them drink something, smoke something, do something that actually had them, and the whole Crystal McKinley, like all of his victims, everybody suing him, all said the same thing, including Mark Curry and all these other things, that whenever they had somebody in their sights, they would smoke or drink something, and the next thing they know, their legs would get wobbly, and they didn't know what was going on. You guys, I had to do a little research, and I think I figured out what was going on. See, Diddy thought, and this is how maniacal Diddy is, but also very calculating and very smart. You don't get this far not being very smart. There was a method to his madness, because think about it, right? Every people like the dumb Dr. Umars and this and that. I don't think Diddy would have to drug anybody. You have women lining up. He would just do it. But here's the thing. Diddy wasn't doing normal stuff. If you guys think this is Cinemax After Dark, you have another thing coming. This was like going to like the devil's door, okay? The people that were assaulted by Diddy said that it was aggressive, violent, hostile. Cassie said that during free calls, he would punch her in the face. When Diddy liked to get zooted out of his mind for free calls, and then he would get violent, he would get mean, he would get angry. It's not things that normal people would sign up for. But there was also something, because he liked to, if you believe all these lawsuits, degrade people, humiliate people. The Aaron Halls of it would go in there and hold people down. The whole point was to be as demeaning and vile as possible. So why did it all play together? Well, you guys might be already seeing where I'm going, but Diddy rugged people, one, so he could do whatever he wanted with them. It's almost some weird ritualistic thing that a bunch of men who basically just wanted to be with men, but for whatever reason in the patriarchy, they felt like they needed a woman body in the room. Never mind if she's conscious, right? As long as she's warm and there's a pulse that's going. That was one angle. But you guys, it goes even deeper, because people are saying that, did a little research, called around on my theory, and the people that were actually involved agree there might be something to this. Okay. I discussed this with quite a few people. I was on the phone with my friend and it clicked in my head. And then I literally like went and researched, but I think this is it, right? Diddy rugged people, and his whole crew rugged people, because they thought that the party involved, even if they remembered what happened, even if they pushed through the shame and humiliation of what happened, even if they pushed through the terror of going up against someone that had like mafioso ties and doing all the stuff, they thought that nobody would believe them, because he rugged people so they wouldn't report it. Because if they did report it, it would look like they were partying. Or even worse, the reason he literally um, uh, would allegedly ask minors with spiked drinks is because they felt like they were doing something bad. They couldn't go tell their parents they were partying with bad boys. They felt like they couldn't even tell the police they were doing it, because what were you doing drinking underage? That's a crime, you know? But what's worse, you know how everybody said the same thing? He insisted that people take a hit of the blunt. Remember how they all said that? Every single lawsuit says that. Why is that? Because he thought by reporting it, He thought by reporting it, they would also have a code of silence, because who will run to the police and say they think that they were assaulted, something happened, and when they actually say, okay, tell us what happened, you say, oh, well, we were smoking what? Because even though we forgot about it, cannabis has been legal in New York only since 2016. Prior to 2016, if you went to the police and you reported something happened, you reported you got beat up, or you got robbed, or you got even worse, great, right? Even though they would go and arrest that person, if they found out that there were any illegal drugs or narcotics being used, the police also had the option of pressing charges against you because you were also engaged in illegal behavior. Now, I know that would be adding insult to injury, but stuff like that did happen. And also, think about it. You're chilling with Diddy and them. You know he's powerful. You know he's rich. You know he's mean, and you know he rules things with an iron fist. To keep in mind, you're not really sure what happened. You know you're sore. You know your body hurts, right? But you don't really remember what happened. You blame yourself. Why did I take that drink? Why did I do this? Things are coming out. You realize you didn't want it to happen, but you feel embarrassed because maybe things went too far, and, victims blame themselves. But then on top of that, if you open your mouth, there's a chance that you might get in trouble. You might get charges pressed against you. And let's just say that you prove that. Let's just say that you're not able to prove whether or not it was consensual or not. The police are like, we don't know what to think because it's only you and him and blah, 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 blah. But one thing we do know is both of you guys had a little wacky weed. Both of you guys did this and that, or at the very least, you just admitted that you did this. You admitted you drank underage. You admitted you did this. You admitted you did that. You guys, do you see how conniving this is? The reason why Diddy insisted that everybody that was around him that rolled with him had to be up and stuck and zooted out of their minds is because he thought he had made a foolproof system for any of his victims ever being believed, and making sure that people thought twice before they reported him. And you guys, as much as you might think that's ridiculous, it doesn't track. That's how he was able to have his reign of terror for over 20 years. And it wasn't until Cassie, and think about it, even Gina Hun came forward and spoke with Tasha K and said all the stuff that he did to her. And everybody act like they didn't hear anything. Everybody did. Now, true, Gina Han came back later and took everything back, but I think that's because Diddy had to pay her off. My point of the matter is, think about it. For 20 years, everybody went through the same stuff, and there's a million Cassies that aren't speaking up. But the ones that did, Cassie being first, they said their stuff. Think about it. Nobody really believed Cassie in the industry, or they didn't want to believe it until Diddy settled. And even then, they were calling her a liar until the tape dropped. At the end of the day, Diddy had a foolproof machine to make sure that he could abuse the people around him scot-free. And that's why whenever you walked into a room, you had to drink or you had to do something, because baby, he knew what he was doing. Anyway, y'all, just wanted to let you know a little bit about what my findings were, why Diddy insisted on people having a drink or having a smoke or taking something, depending on who you were. That's also why Christian Okorum and Little Rod's lawsuit insisted on shoving things down people's throats, because at the end of the day, yeah. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll talk to you later. Bye.